You're listening to The Forgotten Faction, brought to you by Dads of Destiny Westside. Visit us at dodwestside.com or follow us on Twitter at DODWestside. System, how you doing this morning?
Tired.
Yeah, I would expect so. You were pretty late. How late were you up?
Almost 3 a.m. Attempting the new Raid Lair.
Is it a layer or a lair?
Lair, not like Princess Leia or cakes. It's a layer.
Is it a layer or a lair?
It's a layer.
Oh man, that's so bad. All right. Anyways,
it's a law.
The new raid dungeon.
Yeah, we could call it a dungeon.
It's a dungeon. It's a dungeon. But anyways, you get it done?
No.
Oh, sad days.
It's not easy, but it is so much fun.
Better or worse than the original raid?
I'd say better.
Better than the original raid.
That's
impressive. So that means it's way better than Crota's End.
I don't know. Crota's a lot of fun.
Okay, so let's now rank all of the raids in order, your favorite to your least favorite. What's your favorite?
My favorite would be King's Fall.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That one was very tricky. I did enjoy doing it, but it was very tricky. Yeah, okay.
My worst is the one I hate the most is Wrath of the Machine.
Okay.
And then I'd probably put Vogue second, this Raid Lair third, Leviathan fourth, and then Crota, and then Wrath of the Machine.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So that means this is pretty good.
It's good. It's short, but it's like it's hard, but it's a good hard, and it's really, really cool mechanics. Like it's lasers. I mean, how could you go wrong with lasers?
What? Wait, what? Lasers?
Yeah, so obviously spoilers here, but so like you go in and it's a jumping puzzle, and
yes,
then you fight some enemies, and then you get a chest, and then you go into the next room and it's a falling puzzle essentially, and then if you actually go through all the rings as you're falling down, you get another chest. And then you're in the final boss room. But you have to do an encounter to unlock the boss out of like a tomb or some encasement.
Okay.
And it's a lot of communicating and playing with these Vex skulls. You have to charge them with different elements to destroy a bunch of crystals around it to take it apart. And then once you're done with that, you get a chest, and then you've released the final boss, and you're there. Like it's like legit that short, and you can the world's first completion was done in an hour and 40 minutes. So like this is gonna be something you're gonna be doing in a
it's
half
just gonna
hour,
be a real long strike.
Essentially, yeah. It's really short, but it's so much fun. It's a lot of communicating, and like there's a lot of mechanics to it. The final boss, it's take the shield down from the boss, and then DPS, and then stop the wipe mechanic that he does right after that, and you repeat that. You have 4 chances to kill him. Otherwise, you're dead. But it's a lot going on, but it's really fun. I mean, you get the Vex skulls that you get to take down the shield, and as well as you can DPS with. You charge them with the different elements, and they shoot lasers. I mean, like, how can you go wrong with lasers? I mean, at this point, the game is the game of lasers.
The game of it is. It truly is the game of lasers. So,
Yeah, it's
well, because I took you into trials. You went and
yeah.
played trials with me.
I did go and play trials, and we played with Prometheus lens. It was so
Yes.
stupid.
Yes, it was broken, wasn't it? It's broken. But
you know
I
what?
really like the way Bungie handled that. I really did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, put everybody on an even playing field so everybody can use it, because otherwise it would be just unfair to go against even one or two people on a team having it and nobody else having it. It would be a real bad time. So they said, "Oh, we'll just give it to everybody." But it was fun. It's trials still aggravating as it always is, but it was fun just for the goof off factor of shooting lasers everywhere. I mean, you're just watching 8 beams go at each other, and it's fun.
It is. It really is. And we were talking, it's kind of hard sometimes to tell which way the lasers are going.
You don't know which way's coming at you or away from you, especially if you're kind of grouped up. It's definitely hard to tell. It's like, are you shooting or are we being shot at?
Yeah, exactly.
But we cleared out 3 wins for 2 people that don't really play Crucible at all, and then 2 that do. Pulling out 3 wins, I'd say, is a win.
On this weekend, yeah, which is it's a little crazy. There's a bug, a known bug, where if you do enough damage to them, it kind of works like a real delayed damage over time effect that's almost explosive, kind of like a Firefly perk. Like, you didn't quite kill them, but it's just going to suddenly cause them to explode if you do enough damage. I'm starting to get the feel for the exact, because it's a very specific timing where I was like, oh, I've done enough damage, I don't have to finish them off because I know they're going to die. Kind of almost like a thorn in D1, where it was the two tapping out, where you just knew, and so you could leave, and that's what it was starting to feel like. So I was just you hold that trigger and out, hold that trigger and out. And you just get it just right.
You don't even. It's actually a faster time to kill if you shoot it like a scout. If you shoot it like a scout rifle, it's actually a faster time to kill.
Last night, and I think that's not true.
Oh, it's true. I did it a little bit myself. It's way true.
Because I tried. So he on the if you look at the video that he put, that MTash put together for it, it's in fast motion during his kills.
Yeah, but he's still he's still beating out people that are like straight laser firing him.
If you look at it, almost nobody's actually shooting at him during the video.
A few of them are, and I've seen other.
And I've seen other people are already damaged.
Yeah, and like, I did it myself, and it does work, and like, that's how I was using it in PvE as well, because it does reapply that effect.
Yeah,
and it does work. I mean, in Crucible, you're probably gonna trade a lot either way, but I mean, Tuesday will change everything, whether that gun is completely destroyed. Especially, like, it feels good in PvE. It doesn't feel broken in PvE. But if they once they change it, how bad will it be for PvE is my big concern, because it's a good gun, but it eats ammo like crazy. That's why Cold Hard is still superior for Callus.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard it's better, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what could they do to make that weapon a little more balanced in PvP? And I think the primary thing I was thinking of was toning down what it does at max ramp, but allowing it to get to max ramp faster.
What they could really do is just separate balancing between PvE and PvP. I mean, really, that's all there is to it. Or
yeah, there's that, but
do a banned list in PvP. I thought that was a great idea. I saw on Reddit. Like, there's certain guns you cannot take into PvP.
I think that you should. Well, yeah, I think that'd be fine. I think that'd be okay because they already do that with light level. Like if you infuse something into something that's above your level, which everybody noticed if you tried to if you got a drop and you tried to infuse it into something you had, so it made it like 309, but you were still level 20. You couldn't put it on.
Right.
But if it was on, all of a sudden you just became like it gave you 0 light. It would kind of glitch out, and it would give you the equivalent of 0 light with that armor piece or weapon. So it hurts you significantly to do that, which I found out later. And they could do something where, yeah, you can't have that weapon equipped, or if you do, it basically does no damage in the Crucible.
Yeah, like there's plenty of things that can be done. It's just, whether they want to implement it or not. Because, like, I understand you don't want to like ban weapons from the Crucible, because then you're making the pool of weapons that are part of the meta smaller, which is fine, but it's also limiting, and that would upset a lot of people. But I think it would be a good thing.
Well, what you could do with that is say that, okay, there's 3 different hand cannon archetypes. There's 3 different, submachine gun archetypes, or 2 or whatever. And do that, find all your archetypes, and then get 2 or 3 weapons tops in each archetype that has a different set of perks that each, have a unique play style to them with that weapon. And get those balanced. Granted, that still leaves us with quite a few weapons, but if you just limit it to that pool and make all of those weapons available from a vendor or from,
yeah, but
and then trials, and that's it. It either comes from a vendor where you can go and buy it every week, or it comes from trials, and that's it.
Well, that, or I mean, to expand on that, you could have separate PvE perks compared to PvP perks, which brings me back to the Warframe mod system. And then you're separating out PvE, PvP balancing either way. And so, ultimately comes back to separate balancing between PvE and PvP, which I don't know why they can't do it.
If they can individually tune every weapon, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they've probably done that in the past with past Bungie games, but they can't seem to do it with this one. And maybe that's an engine limitation or a money limitation.
Something. Yeah, either way.
It's something.
Yeah, it's definitely something. So
yeah. So, but either way, so let's talk this DLC. On a place this on your scale of DLCs. Where is this drop in your DLC list of favorites? Kind of like we did with the raids, high, low, versus fall.
I don't know. It's a good storyline. It's a lot of fun, and like, it's cool. It's visually amazing, for sure. And it's good. I don't know really where to like rank it in DLCs. I definitely put it in my top 2, I'd say, as far as DLCs go. Because like Rise of Iron DLC, the storyline was really good. Like, it expanded a lot. So yeah, like it was really good, I would say. There's some things that were a little confusing, obviously. But it was good. Like, it was cool. But I also got to do it with like a full fire team, and so like we blew through it, and like it wasn't difficult, and we had a lot of fun doing it. So like that helped a lot for my experience with the DLC.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I blew through it too. It scales appropriately when you're in the Infinite Forest based on how many people are there. Like I died once in the Infinite Forest, maybe twice, and both of those is because I fell off the map because I jumped in the wrong direction, not
Mhm.
because the enemies actually killed me. Like it was pretty smooth.
Yeah,
To
it was
that.
it's smooth and it's good. Um, but like I like again, I would say my overall experience is affected by the fact that I was able to play it with two really good friends. And so the bullshit factor of, having fun and while doing something new is always a good feeling. Um so like it was, again, I guess, back to the damn friend game, which heightened that experience. But like, it was cool. The only thing I would have like really changed, like, you didn't realize you were playing strikes in the middle of your story. Like, it didn't tell you, hey, this is a strike. And then you go to do the heroic strikes, and you're like, hey, didn't I do this during the story? Like, this is
Wait,
a strike.
which one was a strike?
So the one where you go get the map from the big guy, where like you go like forever
Yeah.
through the infinite forest, and then you have like that 3 encounter boss fight to get the map. That's a strike.
Oh. Huh.
And then the one where you go up to the top of the tower and fight the guy that's around the rim,
Yeah.
that's the other strike.
Seriously? I
Yes.
thought those were just super cool story missions.
No, there's strikes.
Ah, that's disappointing.
And I was like, well, that's cool. And like, it does scale appropriately when you're in the story. For sure, if you're doing it solo, you can do that strike solo because it treats it like a story mission. But once you're on like an actual strike playlist, you're like, oh shit, this is a legit strike. It's actually kind of difficult.
Okay. All right. Well,
But it's cool.
that is kind of funny that they wouldn't tell us that.
Yeah.
And I would say as far as my ranking goes, I think Rise of Iron was my favorite. And I think just because of how cool Osiris is and the whole trials in the lighthouse and all of that, I think this goes as my second one, but a close third is Taken King. And I think part of the reason Taken King is so high on my list is also the amount of quality of life improvements that came with Taken King.
Yeah, a lot came with that for sure.
And I did like the storyline. I think there was a good like 12 or 14 story missions, if I remember correctly.
It was definitely long.
Yeah,
That's
it was lengthy. And I really enjoyed that first Oryx encounter, where we end up getting our sword from the shard at the end. Like that one was fun to do, and the first time I did it with a couple of good buddies of mine. That was fun to do, and it was hard enough that I felt like I needed help. I think I died a couple of times doing it.
Oh yeah,
thinking
absolutely.
back to that, like I needed help. When I didn't feel like I needed that this time, like I just kind of cruised through this. So yeah, I was a little disappointed in the difficulty this time around, but again, this is all about the casuals, so they're gonna make it a little easier.
Yeah, it's like it's meant to be done like immediately following the Red War. So like if you just bought the game and you get the expansion as well, like it's meant to be done immediately following the Red War before you've done the raid, because it was recommended light level on most of it around 200, 230.
Yeah,
I think it maxed out at 230 towards the end, which is pretty low compared to what our max is. And so like that was whatever. I mean, sure, whatever. Personally, I wasn't getting very many drops, so they definitely changed something in drops, drop rates, and how much it helps you, especially exotics. That explains why 3 coins are coming back, because they definitely adjusted.
They
some
nerfed
stuff.
exotic drops like crazy. Like I've gotten 2.
Yeah, because like when
it was a daily thing. It was like multiple times a day, and now it's like I played for 3 days and got 1.
Yeah, like when D2 Vanilla dropped, and the raid launched, I was overpowered for the raid, essentially. And like now, I was not close to max for Raid Lair. And so like they definitely changed some things in gating your leveling. It felt like
Yeah,
it
agreed.
was a lot harder to get through the soft caps. That's for sure.
Agreed. And I'm okay with that. I like the grind. I like that I've been grinding for, since Tuesday. It's now Saturday, and I got on, by I think 2:00 on release day, and I've played several hours a day. I've played probably at least 3 hours a day since launch, and I'm only like 214 or 314 on my hunter. And that's just one character. Like I haven't even started on my warlock, and I still got to do the grind on my titan later, because I haven't even gotten my titan to level 20 yet, because I don't like titans, but I need that shield wall for PvP because reasons. But but in all seriousness, like I've been like going at it, and like hallelujah they sold Prometheus lens, because if they didn't, like you're going to have a vast number of the population that's not going to have it because exotic drops are so small now. Like, yeah, it is needed. So I'm glad. I'm really glad that they brought 3 of coins back with the way they've made the economy. I was really worried under the old economy and 3 of coins, like that was going to be super casual, and I was just like, no. Like,
yeah, and what's funny is like we get the DLC. We've essentially only got half the DLC right now because the other half comes out on Tuesday.
Right,
and like
exactly. All the other patches.
I am like super excited for Masterworks, especially.
Yes.
Because there's some guns I've gotten this week that I'm like, I can't wait to Masterworks this. Hopefully I'll be able to Masterworks my True Prophecy, my Future
Nature
Warcall
of the
hand
Beast.
Nature of the Beast, like
oh
that thing's
my gosh, I cannot
good.
wait for Prometheus lens to get nerfed so I can take Nature of the Beast in there and wreck, because that thing is amazing.
Yeah, the recoil on it is really,
it feels so crisp. Like I traded with a bunch of people with Prometheus lens. Like I got the drop on them, so and they weren't charged up, but still, like it was. I took it in there, and eventually I was like, okay, well, I'm not like, doing great, but
yeah. And it's funny, like I run a hand cannon primary, and usually an auto rifle secondary, and like I showed you some of my Crucible footage the other day, and like right at the beginning, like I showed you that one kill where I'm like hand cannon battle with a guy, and then like I like do this like jump shot and like kill him anyway, and I'm like, how did I kill this guy? But I was like, I love this gun.
I know, right?
But
I saw that.
It was so weird, and like that's why I included in that video, because like it was so weird that I actually got that kill on that guy, despite that he like blinked away from me and was like getting away. But I just like randomly shot towards him, and boom, dead. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. But like, it's a great gun for PvE because it's got explosive rounds on it, so it's really good for a lot of encounters. And so like I can't wait to Masterworks that, and Masterworks my Uriels and Positive Outlook, even though I'm gonna have to grind again to get another Positive Outlook after last night, because I had to throw that into a primary auto rifle to deal with ads. Which the Iron Banner auto rifle is actually pretty good, pretty decent. Especially for ad clearing.
Which one's that called? I can't remember, but it's got a real metallic-y sound, kind of like Origin Story.
Yeah,
I love it.
Really does. It's the Forward Path.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty decent in PvP. Like I've used it in there, similar to Origin Story, and it holds its own.
It's very comparable to Origin Story, but it's got a different sound, slightly less impact. But it's got a good magazine size, really good stability, and so like for clearing ads last night in the raid, it was really good. Just to be able to stay on target, clear it, move. It reloads super fast, especially with Ophidian aspect. Holy cow, those feel so good.
Ophidians, really?
Yeah. Oh, it
has a reload perk on it?
Yeah. So Ophidian aspects new perks are weapons ready and reload very quickly, and melee range is extended.
Huh.
So like I've exclusively worn the Crown of Tempests since like launch of D2 vanilla because of the arc ability with Stormcallers and how good it is assisting arc. But since I got Ophidians, and then I saw a Mesa Sean video, he's like, last exotic you'll ever need for a warlock. I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And like it reloads pretty quick, especially if you have outlaw. But like my merciless reloaded almost instantly, and a bunch of other guns it reloads a lot faster. Like it reloads my True Prophecy, which is super slow to reload. It helps reload to be able to get into engagements again. So I was like, okay, so bumped up my Trials helmet that I've got that actually has good stats on it for recovery and armor, and put my Ophidians on. I'll probably keep those on for quite some time now.
Yeah. No, so in case anybody who's listening to this hasn't done this, DestinyMassiveBreakdowns.com is kind of your go-to place. It's run by a guy. I don't know if he runs the website, but the guy who does the breakdowns is a guy called Mercules, and the dude is a beast with numbers, and he really really breaks things down. And it's amazing what this guy can manage to pull out of these things. But he has a full breakdown of time to kill for every weapon archetype and every weapon that's available to you. So like I can go look at optimal time to kill and body shot time to kill for every weapon that's available in the game right now. So I can go look at forward path, and I can see that its optimal time to kill is 1.10 seconds if you land 11 crits in one body. Or if you land 16 bodies, it's 1.5 seconds. And then you compare that to like Origin Story, and Origin Story's optimal time is actually 5 crits and 5 bodies at 1.2.
But so let me ask you this though. Like, sure, you can do all the math and everything,
right?
But how much of that also comes into like you could get something
your
that's
range,
like
stability, handling, aim
well,
assist?
No. A personal preference on the feel of the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So sure, you could be playing something with a lower TTK, but you're actually better with it than somebody playing with an optimal just because you like the feel of it.
Right. So, well, I guess the point I'm trying to get here is if you look at this breakdown sheet, like every weapon, every single auto rifle has with their optimal time to kill has between a 1.1 and a 1.2 time to kill. Every single auto rifle. Every last one of them, with the exception of Cold Heart, Prometheus, and Sweet Business if you're trying to ramp it up from a dead stop. Every one of them, which means every one of those weapons is viable in the Crucible. All of them. They're all within 0.1 second of each other on optimal time to kill. So there's no reason that you can't go in there and say and objectively say that Restoration 8 is better than Ghost Primus. You can't objectively say that because when you look at your optimal time to kill, it's going to be the same. Now, granted, you can go in there and look at other things like range and other perks and play it to your play style. But I love that they've got those things so balanced within that individual archetype that everything's available there, all of it.
That reminds me, I need to get another Ghost Primus because that's a really good auto rifle for PvE.
Yeah. And then you get into some further breakdowns, like you can see that True Prophecy and the Steady Hand, hand cannons have a 1.07 time to kill. But I love the balance that's provided there, in that their optimal time to kill is the fastest, but they also have the slowest body shot time to kill because their headshot multiplier increase, comes across the board. So it's very interesting to see. I kind of like that stuff.
I still think hand cannons need a slap.
What's interesting to me is that Nature of the Beast is actually listed as one of the highest time to kills for hand cannons.
That makes sense. It definitely feels that way, even when you're even if you're shooting at nothing, it feels that way. And like if you're shooting at an enemy, unless you're getting headshots, it feels slow because it is also energy, and energy weapons seem to always deal less damage than kinetic.
They will to enemies without shields.
Well, yeah, and like even if you have like a scout rifle primary, scout rifle energy, your scout rifle energy will just feels like it's killing something slower, but your trade-off is a faster fire rate.
Right.
And I, probably done on purpose, obviously. But it's like, it feels good, but it also feels while you're shooting it, even if you're shooting at nothing, it feels weaker. The recoil on energy weapons is significantly less. And I guess you could explain that it's energy, so it's, the gun itself being energized is controlling itself partly for you, and the trade-off is, a less impact.
Right. And that's, I think Bungie's done a pretty good job at creating balance within the archetypes. But as we've seen, not all archetypes are created equal.
Oh, definitely not.
And there's some work that still needs to be done there.
So, to pull away from the PvP talk,
right?
Because of course, back to the story. So, like, the number one thing with the story, what would you say is the one thing that stands out the most as you're playing the story campaign?
One thing that sticks out the most?
Mm-hmm.
Like as a negative or a positive, or what are you getting at here?
What is a overarching theme of mechanics that you're doing a lot, or
well, the infinite forest. You're constantly going in there and opening doors, and I mean that's everything's centered around that.
Okay, so this is probably my fault for not explaining this properly. My thought on the DLC, the number one thing you do during this DLC, I guess, is what I'm actually asking.
Fetch requests?
No.
Go here, get this. Go here, get that.
Jumping. Like, there's so much jumping going on. It's stupid. Like, if your X button doesn't work, rip your life in this DLC. Because there's so much platforming. It's like not a lot of gunfights, but you are jumping all the time. Like, there's a lot of platforming in this. Like, they went a little overboard on the platform. Like,
I don't mind.
I don't mind either.
I jump around like I have Tourette's constantly when I play PvE, anyways. So
yeah, you do. That's for sure.
It doesn't bother me. Like maybe that's why I didn't notice. Maybe because I was just like I'm jumping and I'm landing on things instead of just jumping and coming back down. But
yeah, it's just so funny. Like, why did they do so much platforming? Like, it's cool. It's a cool mechanic. It creates a lot of verticality in everything. So, despite the fact that the play spaces are smaller, there's a lot of verticality in them, and it's kind of a cool way to expand on a small space. But holy cow, if you can't jump, rip your life in this DLC.
Yeah,
and it definitely proves it more so in the Raid Lair, because it's a lot of jumping.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I just looked at time to kills on submachine guns.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. On sidearms.
Hey, is that a Ghost Primus in my vault? Perfect. Apparently I still have a Ghost Primus. Awesome.
Last hope, 0.8 seconds. 0.8.
So the gun is still so broken.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, anyways, moving on. Yeah, I could see it though. I don't mind. I think it's fine. I think it's a good thing. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Problems with it.
Uh, uh, I guess our lore nerds would say, there's definitely some things that are wrong in the timeline of lore and whatnot. Um, some mistakes that they made, but like whatever, it can be explained away. Um, that's about as lore-y as we're going here. Um,
I
but
would say there was some interesting things in the storyline that
mhm.
I enjoyed, kind of like moments on my side where I was like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea." When you kind of find out that Ikora had been a part of exiling Osiris.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that she like led the exile. Like that was I was like, "Oh." Like like damn,
She
like
did.
that connects. That makes us looking out for him like even that much more like wow. Like I don't
Well,
know.
she did it to save her own ass so she could, be the vanguard leader. A little bit of a power play on her part, but like, yeah, like that's cool. Explains, some of that backstory and whatnot.
I wish they had gone into it more.
Sure, yeah, a little bit more would have been
And
nice.
I was really disappointed that he just sorry, spoiler alert before I go any further. I was really disappointed that he just disappears back into the infinite forest and he's not the speaker.
Well,
Like
that's
so disappointed.
not surprising.
I know, but I really wanted him to be the new speaker. I lost a
Uh,
bet, I think, with that. I think I have to go delete something now.
whatever. Um, no, like it's kind of good. We'll see how that leads into the next DLC. That there isn't a speaker, and see if somebody comes back. I think it's cool that there's definitely obviously areas that are still not open yet. Because obviously, as we learned this week, there's a bunch of stuff that's not in game, but it's in the database, like Segura's Ghost. I don't think anybody's found that Saint 14 shotgun yet, even though we have found Saint 14, possibly Saint 14's body.
Yes, I saw that. There's just the body just out there. I got to figure out where that is.
It's in the Up and Up and Away adventure, up top of the cliff where you kill the last three guys. And then you can look in like a little hole and you can see the body floating there.
Oh
Some
man.
guy did lag his way into the room, and that's on Reddit.
Huh. That's
But
interesting.
uh, which brings me back to Segura's Ghost not being in game yet, or at least nobody's found it. I think we'll get that when we unlock all the forge weapons. I have a feeling, or Saint 14 shotgun, or both. Will be unlocked at that point. And since you're gated to 3 a week, except this week you get 4 forged weapons.
Ooh, sorry. I just thought of something. What if like you're talking about his shotgun and then we actually go to where the body is
That
to
Yeah,
get it
I'm pretty
as
sure
like an adventure or a quest?
yeah, it'll be like a quest, and you'll have to go in
Yeah.
there and get it, because like you can only see that part when you're in the future side of that mission, which means it's in a future where Saint 14 actually died, and there's like a shit ton of Vex dead in that rooms, and so it kind of puts more behind that lore of he killed an army of Vex, more Vex anybody could kill in a lifetime. And so like that's really cool. And like if it's not a quest for that shotgun and you don't go in there, I'm gonna be super disappointed.
Yeah, they need to include that in there. But yeah, they need to include that in there. But so overall though, for what we got storyline wise, is there anything else that you really liked? Like I really liked the final boss encounter.
No, yeah,
That was way better than Callus.
yeah, it was or you mean Gaul?
Or Gaul, I'm sorry. It was way better than Gaul. Way better
Yeah,
than Gary.
agreed. Like the fact that it's like not like a just DPS destroy him, but like you're working with Osiris to kill it, and you shoot a rocket at it and it takes him down, and like you just do that a few times and it's over. like that is really cool. And like I thought it was really really cool until somebody figured out that he has almost the exact same animations as Oryx for the King's
The
Fall
clap.
fight. Well, like most of his animations are Oryx's animation, and like so that took a little bit away from me, but like that whole fight is really cool either way. And like, yes, I agree, it is way better, and not so much of a letdown as the Gaul fight was. Like that was a pretty easy fight, and like you're like, oh, that's it, cool. Whereas you kind of feel accomplished killing Panoptes.
Yeah, you do. It wasn't just oh, let me just shoot him repeatedly while he's between supers and stay away from him. It was like, oh, there was deal with the ads, and then we gotta grab this and do this and do these mechanics and run over here, and Osiris is everywhere, and
Yeah,
like
and
it was fun.
it actually led into the Raid Lair, which is really cool. Because the final boss for the Raid Lair is Argo, which is actually Panoptes' name before Panoptes in Greek mythology.
Huh.
So like that lead into it is actually typical of Bungie to do the raid, the story leading into the raid, like as an Oryx or uh, Crota and Wrath of the Machine. Like the story led into the raid, and it kind of does that with this DLC. Now after the Panoptes fight, when you come out of the Infinite Forest and you come just like walking out, and Ikora standing there, and then Osiris comes out. That is a one time where like your guardian should really talk.
Yeah, and there was nothing.
There was like nothing, and your ghost is sitting there being his dumb self talking for you, and like that's a time where your guardian should have talked. And like which then brings into the point of I saw a lot of people bitching that like Osiris doesn't go visit Brother Vance, and it's kind of a dick move. But if he did, it kind of would have then been him recognizing his followers as his followers and kind of legitimizing the cult aspect of it, I guess you could say. And like like Ikora said in the story, they don't know him as the man. They know him and worship him as the myth and the legend.
Yeah.
And he's just going to let them keep doing what they're doing because they're not really interfering. So he'll just let them keep doing what they're doing and being the fanboys that they are. And I was really annoyed with the fanboyness of Brother Vance. You said you weren't because you've got that connection with Brother Vance because of Trials, and I don't really have that connection with him because I'm not a PvP guy, and so I don't really care as much with that connection. Like I could, I'm like, whatever. Yeah, sure, he worships him and whatever. And I see it as he's a fanboy that in the way that Osiris does, I would say.
Yeah, and they did. The more I hang out around Brother Vance, I'm seeing that more and more, and I can see where people can get annoyed with that. But it doesn't bother me. I think it's a good character to have in the Destiny universe. Like I think that's appropriate for him, considering that he's just kind of studied him, and I love Ikora's lines to him because he's like, "Oh, Brother Vance, Osiris's biggest fan." Like,
yeah, because like
she like he's probably creepily like reached out to her repeatedly, asking questions, and she's just like, "Oh, it's you."
Yeah, because she actually knows him on a personal knows Osiris on a personal level,
right?
Whereas Brother Vance, as far as we know, has never met him,
right?
So he's going off of everything he's heard or read about Osiris.
He's even written books, like
yeah, exactly. And so like the whole fanboy aspect is just kind of like Can we just get these fuckboys out of here? That'd be great.
No, I think it's a good uh a good use of that
Yeah,
type
but like
within the Destiny
again,
universe, because now we can just start calling Doc Brother Vance.
oh yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I'll just change his
Just
role.
rename him to Brother Vance for me, would
I'll
you?
rename. Yep, I'll do that. That's pretty funny. But yeah, like it's like it really should have been a time, and it kind of is really apparent that that's where our guardian should have talked. Like, in D1 when you go to the reef for the first time, and like you are talking to the queen and her brother, like that's a really good scene because you're actually talking to each other, and you and Ghost are pretty snarky towards her and the brother.
Mm-hmm.
And like that could have been totally done here, but it wasn't. And it would have made, I think, that ending so much better if you had said, hey, where the fuck are you going? And he's like, nah, fuck, I'm out. And you're like, hey dude, you want to like, okay, bye, I guess. And like, instead of just being
Yeah, I know. It feels
silent,
forced. It still feels forced. And
and
that's where, like, I think another good example of this in recent gaming history is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
mm-hmm.
Because they brought in voice acting for a bunch of the characters, which hadn't been done before, but not for Link.
Well, hasn't Link always been silent though?
He has, and then when there were rumors flying around about there being voice acting in the game, people flipped their shit. Like they lost it over the idea of Link talking.
But that's different. Like he's always had the precedent of never talking.
Right. So I guess that's my point here is we had our guardian talk before, and now he's not, and so we're kind of like, what is going on? I think they're trying to make it a Link style, like you get to be the character, so we're not going to give him a voice.
Right.
Not Uncharted. You are Nathan Drake.
Right, but
with a voice and a character.
That disconnect happens though instead of that connection because your ghost talks so damn much for you.
Right, exactly.
And that's probably part of the reason why we're seeing so many reports of people being annoyed with Nolan North sounding dull and drab, especially in this DLC. And everyone's like, I want Sagira because she was snappy. And like it's really apparent if you play with subtitles, like you see words emphasized in the subtitles that aren't emphasized in speaking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like I've always played with subtitles, and so you see the differences between subtitles compared to how it's spoken, and like almost every character doesn't do it right except for Zavala because Lance Reddick is amazing. And Sagira, like she actually emphasizes what needs to be emphasized and doesn't emphasize where it doesn't need to be. Whereas Nolan doesn't emphasize where he should be. And it's really annoying. And at this point, people are like, I want Sagira or a choice of Sagira over Nolan North. And they're saying Nolan North is sounding boring way faster than they said that about Dinklebot.
The Dinklebot. Oh, those were the days. Man. Sorry, almost forgot about him. I was kind of sad when they completely overrode him. I understand like the reason to do that, but it was kind of sad when they did that. But yeah,
that was cool.
I mean, I don't know. Like that's a good question as to what maybe we do need to start mixing up. Maybe we need to start getting, voices available for our ghosts.
Yeah, like
multiple options. You can have Sagira, you can have
if it's a money issue, we don't need super high paid actors like Nolan North or whatnot. You can pay less money for somebody that can do a good job.
Shoot, you could just get Bife to come in and voice all the ghost lines for dirt cheap.
Right, but it's like
Just give you another option.
You could pay less actors so you could have a choice, and then just give us the
Give us
choice.
5 or 6, or and they're just exotic. And even if they're just available via Eververse, something else. If you could give me a sampling of them, and then I'd pay a couple of bucks to get a different voice, just to mix it up. I don't know. Maybe
let's not get started on the microtransaction talk right now.
Well, I mean, if it's a monetary reason they haven't done that, then like it's not. That's the thing, is it's not something that's core to the game. It's just something that's kind of frivolous, Like,
it's what you hear the most because you're doing adventures or missions. Yeah. You hear that voice from your ghost the most. And so if you want to have the voice you want to have, why not? It makes your play experience better. You're not forced to listen to the same voice for 3+ years. Like, that's going to get annoying. And that's probably part of why everybody wanted something other than Dinklebot after a certain point, because it just gets annoying. Listen to the same person over and over again, say the exact same line over and over again.
It's true.
But overall, I think it's a good DLC, man. I'm really excited for this, and more changes on Tuesday. Perfect. Will it last? Will it last us for the next 3 months? I hope so.
Well, we also get the Dawning coming in, so that's going to breathe a little bit of life into it.
Tuesday?
Yeah. Does it come on the 12th or does it come on the 18th?
I can't remember.
I don't think they said. They just said mid December, so that could be the 12th or the 19th, I should say. It should be the following Tuesday. I don't think it's the 26th is too late, I think. So I think we'll see it the 19th, week before Christmas, so that they can advertise the crap out of it as people, go in to get their last minute Christmas shopping done, because there'll probably be there probably won't be one this year. I was going to say a DLC and game for $60. Probably not. Not this year. But anyways, moving on here. Let's talk Bungie Weekly Update briefly, because there's not.
I forgot there was one.
Yeah, there's not a ton in there. There's just like, here's our launch trailer, and we released it, and Eater of Worlds comes out on Friday. And faction rallies are coming. They gave us a preview of the ornaments, which, by the way, if you're wondering what the ornaments look like for your specific faction, you can go to the factions and inspect the little engram icon and actually take a look at what the ornaments look like. And if you already have the armor sets from Season 1, you can go look at what the ornaments would look like if you just go inspect the ornament option on those said armor pieces. And Dead Orbit's going to win the next one. Calling it now.
If that auto rifle that you win, is,
dude, I'm pretty sure it's an SMG.
No, it's like Valakadian, if I believe it's called. Because I've got one somewhere. The Valakadin. That's the same body style.
Okay.
And that thing is actually really, really good for the raid. It's really good in general. Mm-hmm. But if it's that same archetype, absolutely agreed.
Yep.
Unless it is set that it's set who wins, so Future War Cult wins this time since the other two already won. One thing I did notice inspecting my faction already is there's a weapon. It's like the Peacekeeper or something like that. If you ally yourself with all 3 factions, you get that gun.
Oh, really?
And it's like a sidearm or something like that. I believe it's a sidearm.
Huh.
Yeah, it's got like all 3. I think it's got all 3 elements on it, and it's pretty cool looking. And I thought that was neat to put that in there to kind of say, hey, you want to ally yourself with all 3, not only so that it's cheaper to buy whichever one wins, but that you can get this other gun as well.
That's kind of cool. That is pretty cool. Moving on though, because there's really not a whole lot new about. Balance of power is the next section they talk about. That they
Prometheus lens,
the Prometheus lens
on Tuesday
is broken, and they know it. And it's going to be fixed on Tuesday. So with everybody, so I was pretty pissed. I don't know. We were talking in chat in group me, and I was pretty pissed. Like I was very salty. Not gonna lie, very salty. I was like, I'm not gonna play Trials this weekend.
Oh yeah,
Prometheus lens. Like that's literally what I called it. I was like, hey Zach, you gonna be? I'm like, no, I'm not going into that shit show without a Prometheus lens because there's just no way. And then Bungie had the balls to make it available from Xur. And I gotta say, like, good move, Bungie. Like, well, really.
I wouldn't call it the balls. I would say that was a smart move because
so here's the thing.
Trials is going to be everybody using it or nobody using it because everybody's got it.
Or and that's the thing. So it's either so here's what's frustrating about it. Is what I was expecting them to do is cancel Trials. And that's what I said is if they're not going to cancel Trials, I'm not going in there without a Prometheus lens. Mm-hmm. So it's either got to be available from Xur or I'm not playing. And they made it available from Xur, which I think is the best way to do it because it lets people, which is hilarious because I have so many guys that are so frustrated from the PvP sweats community. They're so frustrated with the current time to kill. They are loving this weekend in Trials because they're like, oh, this feels so much more like D1. It feels good. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, there's only one weapon we can all use, but everybody's got it. So it's a hell of a lot of fun.
I think in general, not just even like, PvP, everybody's having fun with the gun because it's kind of like a gun that just makes it so you're not worrying about, being super MVP to try to stay alive. You're just dicking around. And so you're forgetting all about the rest of what you normally have to think of while you're playing PvP or PvE. Like you can just dick off and play the game and just sit there and giggle the whole time. And like everybody is having so much fun. And now everybody's like, don't fix it. Leave it the way it is and just like lock it out of Crucible and, give us like a mayhem mode that we can use it with. And so that we can all, sit around and giggle just shooting each other in the face with this stupidly overpowered gun because it's just stupid, but so much fun.
And right. And I think maybe that's where Bungie's, I hope they learn a little bit from this 1 week where this gun is just broken as all get out. That's kind of what we want. We want to feel powerful. We want you to crank up the power of the weapons in the Crucible a little bit so that time to kills are faster. We want that.
Yeah,
it makes the game more fun. It makes the individual feel more powerful.
And with everybody having it before Tuesday, before it gets fixed, mm-hmm. It also gives everybody an idea of what it is like as it is in its broken state. So you're not wondering, hey, what was that actually like to feel before it got fixed? So what it feels to be broken and what it feels like to have it as it should be.
Like Xbox and Hawkmoon?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Because they never got it. They never got to touch it before it
got its nerf state.
Yeah, before it was nerfed. So only PlayStation players ever knew the true joy of using for a 2-tap.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. And so it's like not only to level the playing field, but also to kind of give you a chance to understand and feel how it's so broken. And understand why they're nerfing it, because you may get it after Tuesday. It may feel like the weakest gun in the game. You're like, well, why did they nerf it? Like, how broken could it have been if you didn't have it before Tuesday? And like, so we'll understand how broken it is right now. Maybe, I mean, it may be nerfed into the ground on Tuesday, once it's in its actual form, we may be like, well, what the shit? No, put it back. Put it back.
Exactly.
Why did we all call for it to be nerfed? No, put it back. But like it's a good move on their part. It's smart. It's a good business plan, and it's definitely breathed a lot of life into the game. I mean, between Prometheus breathing life into the game for the weekend and Raid Layers, like the amount of support that the team has gotten from the community with how good the Raid Layer feels. Like they even said this morning, they tweeted out, it's legit breathed life back into that studio and completely lifted their morale compared to where it's been the last, couple weeks or, month or two, whatever. But like the launch of Raid Layer alone lifted their morale. The salt on Reddit is slightly still there, but for the most part, like everyone is so happy with Raid Layer and how good Prometheus Lens feels. Like just leave it. Just leave all of that and let us destroy ourselves. And everyone will bitch about Prometheus Lens, and then after a week we'll stop using it and we'll go back to a normal meta.
No, we won't.
Well,
not in trials. In
not
PvE maybe, but not in trials. Trials, people are going to use whatever has the fastest time to kill. If that means Prometheus Lens, they're going to use Prometheus Lens. That's why everybody used Multi-Tool Last Hope, even though we had so many other guns to play with. That's all you went for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks on end in trials is Multi-Tool Last Hope, because that was what was fastest.
Well, sure. I mean, you'll still have those outliers will be like, I'm so bored of using this gun, I'm going to go play with something else.
Yeah, but those are going to be your top 1%ers because they're the only ones who can do that and still pull a win.
I don't know. I beat some Prometheus Lens this weekend with regular guns. You saw it.
Yeah, I know. I beat a few of them too, here and there, but it's not consistent enough that you can go in there and say that you're gonna go flawless, or you're gonna get to, we barely made it to 3 wins.
Which reminds me, I wanted to ask you the other day. So
yeah,
if you are like we were at our 2-2. If you get that third loss before the third win, can you still go visit the Spire?
Yeah, you can. You can go visit the Spire as long as you've gotten 1 win that weekend.
Okay.
You can go to the Spire even after you delete your card.
Okay. So it recognizes it no matter what. Good to know.
Yeah, actually, if you delete your card, you'll see that there's an outline around the first 3 boxes, the first 3 wins, so that you can see how many wins you've gotten to max that week on that character.
Okay, that's cool. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, it references that, so it makes it real easy for you. But yeah, so if you want to go out there and explore or whatever, you can do that. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's fun to use that gun, but it's got to get brought back into submission, or bring everything else up. Yeah. Like one of the two has to happen, or that's all you're going to see in the Crucible for the rest of D2.
Yeah, it's going to be, and obviously it's so much easier just to bring the one down,
right?
Which is fine, whatever. My worry is how bad is it going to affect PvE?
Well, and that's where they've got to find a way that it's still usable in PvE. It's still fun and workable without being overpowered in PvP. And what I'm thinking they need to do is change the rate and the max at which it ramps.
Well, they said it's a headshot multiplier. I'm wondering if it's giving the headshot multiplier on body. And
well, it's also just a straight, like, so what guys are doing in the really crappy thing people are doing is they'll just hold the trigger down until they've got it like at max ramp.
Yeah, that kind of AoE.
Yeah, and then they just swing it around wildly and just like, and you're dead.
But right, and that's what I'm wondering is if all of the damage is actually giving that headshot multiplier instead of not, if you're not getting the headshot, so all the damage is on that headshot multiplier for PvP.
I see what you're saying.
And instead, so
yeah. Well,
otherwise you would have to hit those crits to get that headshot multiplier. It's giving it everywhere in that AoE.
Yeah, it probably needs to be brought back down to a similar time to kill as
Cold Heart.
Not Cold Heart. Sweet Business when ramped up.
Oh yeah, okay.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like when it's ramped up, it should, because that's basically what it is. It's a laser version of Sweet Business that ramps up. Just also happens to have an AOE effect. And if they gave it a 0.93 TTK for, but it's which is what Sweet Business has, then I think it'll be back within normal.
Man,
For
Sweet
Crucible.
Business, that's still a pretty good gun. Like if
Oh, it's
you
still fun. I still don't have one, but it's still fun.
like
Like I
I
played with
was
it in the beta. It was a lot of fun.
yeah, and I was like going against a guy this weekend, like he was really good with it. Stupid Hunter was pissing me off. But he was like really good with it, and like it's a cool gun. It's got its uses for sure. Um but so to continue on here, the question is once all the forge weapons are done, you're at max light, will this DLC sustain us for the next 3 months?
Well, until I get a hold of Masterworks and everything else that's available next week, I can't really say. I think we're going to do all right. I think we're going to do all right for the next 3 months, but I'm really concerned about season 3. Season 3 is where I'm like, because this season we also have the Dawning coming in. We have this DLC to play through, so that gave us new things to do. There's also new adventures with the Infinite Forest. There's additional things to do, a couple of new strikes. But in its current state, yes, I think everybody will have enough to do with the quality of life improvements for this season.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like that there's more milestones each week. There's, the forge weapons will keep you going for a few weeks because that grind for those forge weapons is pretty slow. Unless you're getting really, really lucky on drop, it's pretty slow. Like I got 2 weapons this week, and I still have a third that I'm trying to get. And that's like working all week on public events and strikes, trying to get all those materials. Like, holy cow, that really slowed down progression and slowed down getting that, so you're not burning through it all. So, that's what, a month at optimal to get all the forge weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a third of the DLC right there.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Plus,
a lot of milestones each week to do. I mean, I think
there's like I said, there's things to do, but I feel like this season will be all right. But I'm really concerned about season 3, because when season 3 rolls around, most people will be done with all of the extra little things that this DLC brought, and we'll have a dead season 3.
Yeah, I guess
because there won't be any DLC for season 3. It won't be getting anything until season 4.
Yeah, will season 3 expand to give us more milestones to do?
Yeah.
What will be the grind in season 3 besides just upping our light level?
Right. There isn't enough grind in an individual season just with the seasonal changes to make people stick around if there isn't like private matches. So like if at the start of season 3 we get private matches?
No, we'll have that way before that, because we're supposed to get it in January.
No, they said early 2018. That's all they gave, which could be all the way that could be all the way as late as March.
I don't think it'll be that long.
I think it'll be February or March, personally. I don't see them actually getting it done in January. My 2 cents.
That'd be a long time. Maybe they're planning on to do it around the time that they think that we'll be done with all content with DLC, which would probably be January, February. I want to say. Hoping for January, just because I really want to start. Geez, garage door. Like I really want to. Like it'd be so cool to do a fun run with Prometheus lens right now. A private match would be super fun. Cold Heart, even Hard Light, other kind of weird guns, Fighting Lion. That new Colony grenade launcher would be super fun to do private matches with. Which I haven't got that gun yet. I really can't wait to play with it.
Okay, so Fighting Line. It is, I'm telling you guys, if you listen to this, you haven't tried it out yet. If you got a Titan, you got a Hunter, you got to go try it. Defender Titan, they gave it an impact buff for the direct impact, and they gave it a little bit of they gave a damage output increase also for just the single shot grenade launchers. So it kind of got a double buff there. Plus, when you get a kill with it, when you proc the immediate follow up kill, it gives you an extra round of ammo that goes straight into the magazine instead of taking one from your inventory, which was a problem because previously, like, you only got like 6 rounds, and so you could at max get 6 kills with it, and then you were done. Whereas now you can just infinitely keep doing it, which is so much fun to do in PvE, by the way. If you haven't tried it, it's a lot of fun to do, and it gives a damage output multiplier for shielded enemies. So it's a lot of fun to use in there. I wouldn't recommend it for like high level activities, because if you screw up, like if you don't get that immediate follow up kill, it really puts you in a hole. But for like running through the infinite forest, it's so much fun.
Yeah, there's far better exotics to use for PvE.
But I'm telling you, you got to try it. It's a lot of fun.
I've got one. It's a lot of fun. I've used it, but there's far better exotics to use.
Right. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun. There are better exotics to use that are more efficient, but I'm just talking fun.
Yeah, Prometheus lens.
Oh, and there's a glitch with it too, by the way.
Yeah,
if you kill the enemy that you shoot with it, as long as you just kill another enemy immediately following that, it will automatically reload it anyways. It doesn't have to be the same enemy. So if you shoot something that's really easy to kill and then you just follow it up with another kill and another ad, it'll constantly just keep giving you ammo for the thing. So anyways, so it's basically an infinite ammo grenade launcher if used appropriately. So anywho, cool. Well, I think that covers pretty much everything that went on this week.
Did you like, normally I don't, but I saw something that made me do it. Did you watch the movie of the week this week?
No, I didn't. Not yet.
So it's a rap battle.
The rap battle. Yeah, I saw it. I was going to watch it after this.
The description for it, it's a sponsored video by Activision.
What?
Yeah. And like, sure, like the community votes on movie of the weekend, but like
they put their own sponsored video as movie of the week.
It's a sponsored video by Activision for the free trial event of Destiny, which I think is over by now, but like it was a sponsored video just for that free trial event.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, like hey, like I get the community votes on, but like yeah, that should have maybe not been acceptable to possibly win.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like, whatever, it's a cool video.
Yeah.
And like the sculpt guy, the sculpting time lapse, that's like that guy's first sculpture. Like, he just got into clay sculptures, and like he did a pretty good job on it.
Some people are just naturally good at that kind of thing. Like my wife's similar with, she's an artist. She does a lot of like pencil drawings, and she just got into watercolor on a whim while we were at the hospital. And it's amazing. And it's just like what the, like I don't understand. Some people just have that mind for it, and it's just impressive what they could do with little to no training.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just doing stuff like, me, yeah. I'm good at a lot of things, and then I move on to something else, but like, because I don't like master something, but I'm good at it, and I just either fall off doing it and move on to something else. I'm one of those guys, jack of all trades, master of none. And I mean, sure, there's a few things that I'm like really, really good at, but like I don't make it like my top priority hobby kind of thing. Whatever, like I've got a lot of hobbies, but nothing that's like dedicate absolutely all of my time to, except Destiny. And even then, like I certainly don't dedicate as much time as I used to, because there's a lot of other things that I do now that take up part of my time, with a lot of the stuff I do on my computer and other things. The video editing, the podcast editing takes up a lot of my time now. I used to be really into RC cars, but like I never went anywhere with it. Like I just bought a bunch of them and piddle farted around with a bunch of them, but like I never got to racing them or anything like that. And it's one of those things. It's like, some people are just not either really good at something and they stick with it, or they just good at it and move on. But back to it.
That is pretty impressive. Like while I'm watching it, like as you're talking.
Yeah, it's cool. It's neat, and like I like how he imposed it onto an actual picture of Callus from in game that he blew up and made it fit, and like it's cool. Like if you look at it compared to a different image of Callus, it's a really good job.
Yeah, it's very impressive
and definitely worthy of
movie of the week status.
Yeah, runner up, and another little thing off of Reddit. Like it's one of those little golds that pop up on Reddit. And despite the amount of shittiness that's on there, that little thing popped up out of there, and here it is in the blog. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, love that stuff. Love that stuff. All right, well, I will. I think that's pretty good, and I think we'll call it a week. Appreciate you guys listening. I know we were gonna have HD and Doc on, but they both had some personal things come up, so it is what it is. But we'll get them back on here next week, and in the meantime, y'all have a good week, and see you in orbit.